Good morning. It is 9/11, 2024. 9/11, of course, for many of us who are old enough in the United States anyway to remember a singularly important date in our recent history. What was it, 2001? 9/11 it was 2001, 23 years ago. Geez. Uh, there was a couple of terrorists that attacked at the World Trade Center, and then another crash. But it was a terribly traumatic day. I remember it well, and anybody that lives through it sort of remembers it well. I was sipping my morning coffee, getting ready to go to work, and we were watching our little black and white TV. Yes, it was. Everybody else had color. Don't think it was that far back, and we've just been very behind the times technologically. I think the little television set we've got right now is 30 years old at least, but and its color. But anyway, we were watching I believe it was the morning news, and they were just talking about some other news story, and then they broke into the newscast and said, "Oh, just in, it seems to be a fire at one of the World Trade Center towers." And then they had a camera set up, and you see flames coming from and smoke coming from the first tower, and they said they believe that an airplane had crashed into it, and they're not sure. Everything was still kind of up in the air. Well, yeah, up in the air. They didn't know what. The newscasters were watching it along with us. Okay, what was going on? And I called Constance in. I said, look, it looks like a plane has hit one of the skyscrapers in New York. And as we were watching, we saw the second plane come in and hit it. I mean, it was live. And I don't know how to describe something that colossal, almost like every other scene in a Godzilla movie. Okay, but it wasn't a movie. It was in real life. So there's sort of a sense of shock that that sort of suspends time. But anyway, that happened. It was on fire. Everybody was. It was very clear that there were two planes that purposely ran into it. Eventually, I got dressed and went off to work, but there wasn't much work to be done. I worked in an office, and we had the television on. We were just watching the whole thing, and we all went into the lunchroom where we had a bigger screen, and we got there in time to see the first tower completely crumble in on itself, as if it was almost like a purposeful demolition pictures. And that was shocking too. And because we realized that everybody in the building, that building had obviously perished. And so that was, our boss said, everybody go home. We're not going to get any work done today. And so that's my memory of it. And as the day wore on, we learned about the Pentagon uh, attack or the Pentagon crash, and then the crash in the of another plane in a field in is it Ohio? Whatever it is, I'm going to do this. Uh, but the world changed that day. The geopolitical world changed that day, and it it didn't change for the better. Let's just say that, and we're still, in a sense, reeling at the international instability that our reaction to that event caused. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. I can't let the day pass without at least meditating a bit on the significance of that event. In the same way, December 7th, 1941 changed the world. Everything was, I mean, World War II set the stage to the Cold War, and December 7th, 1941 set the stage to September 11th in its own strange way. Anyway, I'm going to talk just a little bit about tarot because Constance and I uh, are perpetually preparing for Monday night class, which is this class series is the walking through the Thoth Tarot, at least the section of it that deals with the Trumps. And last Monday's was the Lover's card. Now, when I first got into tarot, I was hoping for sort of a practical guide. Uh, sure, I wanted to know about the esoteric stuff and the Kabbalah thing and the Hebrew letters that go with it and things like that. But I also wanted to say, well, usually the lover's card means that's a partnership or a marriage of some kind, or uh, but when you start to read Crowley, he wrote that book of Thoth right toward the end of his life, where he was trying to explain absolutely everything. And in Kabbalah, of course, everything in heaven and earth is connected to everything else in heaven and earth. And Crowley was at the point in his life where all of those connections were at least starting to be made in his mind, and he was trying to explain it to all of us too. So it was like it's unfair. It's unfair to us to read the Book of Thoth because he's trying to tell you everything about everything. And when it comes to tarot and a card like this, we're talking about deep alchemical matters. But anyway, and this is one of the doozies. Okay, it goes hand in hand with the art card or the old temperance card as solve et coagula, and the whole idea about perpetual change and drag in the myths of Cain and Abel, and then Crowley's modern myth of the second Enochian Aether Arn, which is like an angelic communication to Crowley, trying to show him the progression of human consciousness from the age of Isis to the age of Osiris to the age of Horus, and their explanation of what the ancient Hebrew Kabbalists or initiates were trying to communicate in their biblical myth. And it's just, there's a 2 hour Monday night class. We have tea. We discuss the car, but it's really a deep freaking subject. Anyway, we're on that, uh, and perhaps uh, two of the most knowledgeable and adept tarot experts in the world today, and who run the New York Tarot School, uh, Walden Ruth Ann Amberstone, uh, are brilliant people, and they write on the tarot, and they have their tarot school. Uh, for years. They hold a yearly readers studio in New York, and I was been honored to present there a couple times. And they asked me to write an afterword for one of their one of their books a few years ago, 2008. Their book, The Secret Language of Tarot, and it is a secret language. It is a language. Uh, I started to write something a while back where I actually was exploring. I was toying with the idea of labeling or viewing the tarot as a virus, because people who aren't into tarot, don't exactly understand uh, what a what a fascination and what a uh, all-consuming passion tarot can become. It's almost like you catch a virus, okay, in it, and uh, but it's not a virus. The Amberstones here approach it from the idea that it's a language, in the same way as the Hebrew Kabbalah and your acquaintance with either the Hebrew alphabet or the Greek alphabet, uh, literally to create a language to explain the secrets of the cosmos to yourself. Okay, but here's my afterword, and I included in my book. Allow me to introduce. I should say, allow me to introduce and afterwards. Okay, but it's a wiser book, 2008. Okay. As a young man, I was introduced to the tarot as an adjunct to my study of Rosicrucianism and the Hermetic Kabbalah. It was never my intention to use the card as a divinatory tool, an activity frowned upon by the BOTA, the mystery school I attended at the time, through correspondence, of course. Indeed, I was counseled that if I were to use the cards to tell fortunes, it would cripple me spiritually. I took my teachers at their word and proceeded for the next 3 years to use the cards for meditation purposes only. I joke and tell people that I was worried that I'd cripple myself spiritually, but I thought I'd dabble with the cards until I limped a little. So part of the school's curriculum was the requirement that each student paint his or her own deck of tarot card trumps, and indeed that is part of the focus of my new book coming out in spring. The course provided an unpainted deck of 22 trumps bearing clean black outlines of figures on each card and a very strict coloring instructions. Okay, my book Okay, I'll tell you. My book, the title is, and hopefully still will be by spring, The Tarot Architect. And I provide all 78 cards in clean black outline drawings and with coloring instructions, and a whole lot more. Okay, each card took 2 weeks to color, during which time certain texts and meditations were assigned. I must admit that at the end of 44 weeks, I knew every detail of those cards. Now, those the BOTA cards, which were sort of uh, uh, a version of the Smith Waite deck. Okay, for the most part. The mystical power inherent in the images was apparent from the first weeks of my study. The evening I completed coloring the Fool would become one of the most memorable nights of my life. During the night, I experienced the most marvelous vision. It was unlike anything I had ever experienced, even in the 60s. It was so intense that even after I woke up and turned on the light, the living images continued to play across the screen of my vision. I won't bore you with the curiously personal details of this nocturnal initiation. It's enough to say that it was an initiation. Not an initiation into the bricks and mortar order that mailed me my monographs each week, but into the temple of tarot itself. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that my 2 weeks with the Fool card had reprogrammed my psyche and triggered a glimpse of a higher level of consciousness. What would become of me when I finished the whole deck, I thought. Now, over 30 years later, over 40 years later, tarot continues to play a central role in my life. It's my constant companion. Its perfect Kabbalistic structure and construction is a constant source of wonder and illumination. It is the spyglass, counselor, and commentator of an examined life. And I view the streaming events of my ever-changing existence as the shuffling, spreading, and reshuffling of the cards. My relationship with the cards has long ago transcended the stage of, oh my, that damn Prince of Cups is beating me with the Three of Discs again, unquote. These cards have ceased to be metaphoric cartoons of my intellect and reasoning process and have literally become the communicating angels of my intuitional life. In the secret language of tarot, I am moving from the world of swords to the world of cups. And tarot gives me the secret language, the vocabulary to voice such ineffable spiritual subtleties. That is perhaps tarot's greatest gift to the student of the soul. The ability to communicate with the various parts of our own being. To give form and meaning to parts of our psyche that are formless and indefinable. The secret language, the gift of the god Thoth. I've long ago abandoned my eschewing of the tarot as a divinatory tool. This is not to say that I consider my readings for other people to be a form of fortune telling. Tarot, or indeed any oracle, cannot show us the future or directly answer our questions. Tarot is simply a vehicle of perfection, and eternal truth is revealed in perfection. Used with proper attention, such oracles serve to announce the status not of the future, but of the great now. It's the person who consults the oracle who must somehow glimpse the future or hear the answer to his or her question in that announcement. That being said, I can honestly say I've never consciously made an important decision based upon information I've received from a tarot reading, especially my own. Really, especially my own. Or indeed any form of divination. Well, I Ching is pretty in your face, frank, or it can be. This is not because I don't have confidence in the wisdom and efficacy of oracles, but because I'm a self-centered, self-involved, bull-headed old fool who seldom takes wise advice from any of his friends or family, let alone from a pack of cards or the roll of a dice. I have, however, encountered adepts whose tarot insights are eminently worthy of decision-making counsel. Two of them, in fact, are the authors of this book. That's Ruth and Wald Amberstone. Two of them are the authors of this book, for which I'm proud to pen this brief afterwards. The Amberstones are dear friends. I officiated at their wedding. Mary Greer and I were the officiants at their wedding. Lots of people. Thalassa was there too. I definitely recall our dear friend Thalassa. But anyway, I officiated at their wedding, and they're directors of one of the most respected tarot schools in the world. Their tarot credentials are impeccable, but their greatest qualification is to speak with authority on this sacred subject is the fact that they comfortably embody in their lives a conspicuous level of balance, wisdom, and sanity. In short, they are walking examples of lives illuminated through contact and mastery of the secret language of tarot. So that's that. And that's it for today. Let's see what is going on. There's lots of stuff going on in our lives now. We've just lost a very dear friend and one of my writing partners, Wynn Meyerson, has passed away, and we're very, very sad about that. But anyway, exciting things are happening. Some of the things I can share with you right at the time, is some of the things I got to wait for a while. But anyway, until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself and be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.